Nourallah owns a record label called Happiness, and he owns and operates Pleasantry Lane Studios, perhaps the most sought-after and respected indie recording studio in Dallas, Texas. I reached out to Salim in the months before he released his latest record, The Brilliant, A Nuclear Winter, recorded with his friend Marty Wilson Piper, who played guitar for the church, and I asked him to sit down with me and suffer through my meandering and unfocused questions on these matters. What I hope comes through, more than any of the concise insight he provides, is his warmth and genuineness. My first question was actually quite brilliant. I'm fortunate that Salim didn't throw me right on out on the spot. I believe I got around to a question about his overall theme as an artist, if he had one.
An overall theme. Good question to start things off. I think that it's been interesting the last few years being an independent art musician, and I see lots of musicians kind of struggling with the same thing, because when platforms like Facebook, for example, first started, it was a pretty great way to reach people, to have a connection with people. And we've sort of watched that erode a little bit because everybody has a platform now. TikTok, there's all kinds of people making these videos that are for the short attention span afflicted, which is our, basic current state. And everyone has a political platform on Facebook if they want, or it could be pictures of their food or pictures of their pets or whatever. And so it's cool that we're able to connect, but there's all this chatter now. And when you get down to ultimately trying to present music that isn't like top 40 music, that is independent music or more art-based, dare I say, you're basically fighting through the noise of millions of everyone now has the same platform that the musicians are on, if that makes any sense. So that might not have answered your question, but but it just was something that, yeah.
Maybe think so.
Do you think Elvis might be the perfect example? Young Elvis the pelvis shook his way and said, "One for the money, all into the hearts and minds of millions. Some great force beyond the ken of any man took him up like Dorothy's tornado, looked to me like a happy dog chasing a wheel, invisible to the rest of us, but then bang, it's like he was Peter and he realized he couldn't walk on water. He was like Jonah, swallowed up by a satin-sequined whale covered in tassels."
Well, look at what happened to Elvis in just like 5 years. He went from being the world's coolest, best-looking man, happy, to a total abomination of a person, miserable in every way, destroying himself from the inside out and dying. There's Elvis. There's our icon.
Right.
Marilyn Monroe. I could go on and on and on.
Yeah.
It's almost to me become, but yet society in general, Western culture in general, is still obsessed with this. And I guess maybe if you're a factory worker in Cleveland, you know, loading trucks and that maybe, and your life is so, you know, tough that thinking about what it must be like to be Ben Affleck or J-Lo or whoever the latest, you know, but you know, it's just something getting back to, I'm not in that world, grateful. I don't know anybody in that world. I know a couple people that have flirted with it. My friend Marty, who was in the church, was briefly a pop star and got a dose of it, but it didn't last long enough to really totally mess him up, and or mess him up at all, because he's a lovely guy. And but it messed up the singer. The singer was a heroin addict for 10 years. And you know, all the things that he got when they had their hit record went shuffling out the door for smack.
Yeah.
And I think that it's all part of what I also think is the cosmic joke. Basically, whoever, whatever, we don't need to get into the religion or any of that. But like, I think we can all agree that like something made this place, and we're here.
Right.
And we ultimately don't know where the hell we're going. Of course, you know, someone with a Quran or the Torah or the Bible might thump me over the head and say, yes, we do. I say, you know, I think the verdict is still out, but whatever, we're here. And the cosmic joke to me is we're in the most incredible place. The sky is a work of art. The trees, everything that was designed for us, and the way that we have these senses, like our eyes and the touch and taste and ears, and we can make music and we can make incredible food, and but the kicker is you're gonna die. You don't know when, you don't know where you're going, and we're all crazy. So there's not only everyone out there, but your own mind is going to tell you all kinds of stuff. Like, you look in the mirror, you're ugly, you're fat, you're stupid, you can't do that. Most of us, doesn't matter how beautiful, successful, wonderful you are, just about everyone, unless they're a narcissist or a sociopath, they have their own voices, have their own inner terrible dialogue that they have to manage. So it's part of the cosmic joke. It's like, look, we're going to put you in this place that's incredible. Try to enjoy it, buddy.
Right.
Try to not get caught up in the madness. Try to be present. Just be present in one, because the whole history of all of this has come to, oh wait, this moment right here, I'm sitting on a chair talking, and this moment, and this moment, and the whole history of everything that's ever happened. Fast forward to the Romans, you know, popes and Lenin getting assassinated and JFK and everything. We can fast forward, imagining from creation to now, to this one moment. Are you here? Are you present? Are you really taking it in? Because then you're on to the next and the next. All of us. So that's every single day it feels like this is kind of a laugh to me. Like, good one. Whoever did this, because it's so messed up in a beautiful way, but also a really messed up way. Like, it's really, it's just super messed up.
is there a spirit of the age? And is that something that, artists have a place? You feel like you have a place in trying to grasp a hold of what that is. And do you feel like you have a place doing that?
I'm not sure. What that made me think of, though, is this. Hopefully it's not too off the wall, but Joe Strummer from The Clash once said, music is a conversation. And there's no point, you can't have a conversation to the wall. There has to be someone listening there to have the conversation. There has to be someone out there. And it just, I guess I'm constantly putting it back through the filter of being an independent musician, running an independent record label. But I think the labels, so the reason there's a happiness sign behind me is that my current label is called Happiness, a record label. And I just got to a point, I've always been an avid music listener, and I love all sorts of music from Xavier Cugat to the Sex Pistols and tons of things in between, And it's a yawn for me to think of spending the rest of whatever time I have left here just going, have you heard the new Salim Nourallah record? Mm-hmm. It's really great. And what about this Salim Nourallah? Oh, I'm going to post Salim Nourallah. Right. It's like, I've had my chance. I've made, if I stop making music, today, it's fine. There's plenty of my music from all the side projects like the Travoltas and Disappearing Act and all my solo records. So I'm not interested in continuing and just blowing my own horn. Like, I want to help share the music of these great artists that I stumble upon, and examples of that are in 2018, I was going for a run in the neighborhood and I had my Spotify on random, and this great song called Dance to the Rhythm came on by a British singer who went by Leish. And I was just blown away. I bought the vinyl. I think that's another really important thing to do is like mix it up. Don't just stream music for free. Like, if you really love something on a digital format or a streaming service, like, buy a physical copy from the artist. Buy the LP, buy the CD, buy whatever, buy the cassette, So I bought the record and I ended up playing it a whole bunch. And then we were putting together this tour with Marty Wilson Piper, who used to play in this great Australian band called The Church. And I just had this crazy idea. Well, I'm going to find this Leish guy and see if he wants to come to Texas and play with us. And cut to 4 years. Yes, he did come to Texas and he played with us and we became great friends and we're still friends. But I probably have at least a dozen stories like that, that involve just hearing music, loving the music, finding the artist, trying to help the artist, sometimes becoming friends with that person because there's usually some sort of common bond or connection. And so now I think there are people that's happened to with me that are all over the world in different parts of the world. I'm in the middle of trying to orchestrate a vinyl reissue for this group called Machine Translations that I discovered, an Australian band. This guy who's the leader of this band, his name's Greg Walker, and he's a producer, my same age, born in the exact same year. He's like the Jeff Tweedy of Australia. And I discovered their music a couple of years ago on a website for a great record label called Spunk Records. And I just ended up tracking him down. And then we talked via Zoom, and now we're planning this vinyl reissue of what I think is just a phenomenal record. So it's just all these little things like that's ultimately what's, alongside of doing my own music and producing other people in the recording studio next door, that's really propelling me forward. It's multiple things. It's just music. And if I can help turn other people on to music that I love and I think is underappreciated. That's the other thing is like, the world doesn't need me telling, saying how great the new Taylor Swift record is. I'm just pulling a superstar out of the air.
No.
It doesn't, but they might not know how great the new Snowy Band record is, or how great the new Swan record is, or Catholic Action, or Machine Translations, or Diesel Park West, or Emma Koopa, or Emma Russack. So, I could go on and on with them.
Here is the moment during the interview where I tell Salim that it appears he does what the hell he artistically wants.
Yeah, I've been incredibly lucky that I've never had to make a single song or record or do anything that wasn't where my heart or my head was at that moment. It's just, I do what I want to do. I work with who I want to work with, and I try to support other artists that I think are doing great work too. And how lucky is that? And I get to go to the grocery store and nobody bothers me, and that's incredible. And I'm grateful for that because I do know people that can't do that, and it breaks my heart. Who would ever want to live like that? So,
Maybe few people, but not very many.
no, not me. I like going to the grocery store.
I would bother you.
Well, it'd be okay. You'd be the only one, so.
Messages that will not stop. They never rest, relentless, wretched, full of want. Are you listening? Under attack. You're under attack. Under attack. But the enemy is you. Under attack. You're under attack. Under attack, but the enemy's you. There's a battle playing in your mind. No soldiers, only word landmines. The daylight that's denied.